Welcome to the Capture Scratch podcast, the show where we talk about films, television, and the creative process to bring stories to life. Today, we are talking about our top 5 from 2025. What are your favorite movies, shows, podcasts, or documentaries? Mike, you're a bit of a more advanced watcher than I am, according to your list this year.
I do like documentaries.
I was worried about this year, Mike. I was pulling together my list, and I was like, I don't know if it's as strong as last year, because last year I had like 10 off the bat. But after doing some real digging, I found a couple good ones on there. How about you? How was your list?
Yeah, it was a little tough to like remember and be like, oh, what was this year? What was going on this year? But I found some too. So I'm definitely feeling really good about my top 5 and the honorable mentions as well.
Oh, I'm gonna excuse me. I'm just gonna take this off because I'm tired of the holidays.
Even though it's
We're
after
in the
New
new year,
Year's,
it's a new world.
I'm keeping the thing sweater on. I don't care.
Well, you keep it on. I got my Christmas lights still on. It takes me a while to change out of that, but I need to get out of the sweater. But I want to first talk about two things that I'm really sad that I completely missed this year that I think were totally awesome pieces of media that I've heard a lot about. I didn't see The Studio with my boy Seth Rogen, and I'm killing myself about it because it's just about production, and I've seen just some of the shots, and they're amazing.
I've watched so much BTS of that show without watching it as well that it's a crime.
Yeah. Have you seen the mushrooms and the chocolate scene with him, Zoe Kravitz, and Dave Franco?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Brilliant scene. And seeing all of them and the camera's panning between the three of them, great stuff. So I'm dying to see that. And One Battle After Another with Leo DiCaprio, I really wanted to see that. I really tried to make a point to see it before we recorded this because I was like, I wonder if it'll go on my list. And I just didn't get around to it. So
Dude.
I just want to point those out for two that I've missed. But
yeah, for sure. I agree with you on both of those. I do wish I saw both of those.
Did you miss any big ones that you wish you saw for this year before I dive into my honorable mentions?
I will tell you that they're on your list, so I don't know if I'm going to be spoiling anything here too early or something, but I have not seen Weapons yet, and I have not seen Frankenstein, so I know. I'm horrible. I'm just terrible.
Rick, we talked about Weapons.
We talked about Weapons already. I know. Dude, it's hard, man.
Well, that's a real shame.
I know, dude. I'll get on it eventually. I will.
Oh, it just seems like a you movie. This was like, come on, Joey and Mike and Joey, this was it. Oh, well. We have so few movies that have really crossed well together. It's usually a horror type thing.
I do enjoy my horror movies, so I think that tends to be where we cross. And I know this was a miss there, but and Frankenstein too is a horror, gothic horror. That's literally right up my alley. So I'm still trying to find the time.
You're more forgiving on that one. That one just came out. That was just a couple weeks ago. I mean, you have kids. I don't. I'm just sitting here watching movie after movie, man. It's a great life over here.
And for a movie centered podcast, I'm really slacking here, but I try my
Mike,
best.
you gotta live life too, man. You can only watch so many movies.
I know, right?
I'm thinking of just whizzing on through a couple of honorable mentions, maybe saying one or two things about them, but I don't want to stick on them too long. Maybe the exception of one of them, but and then maybe you do that too, and then we can go through our top 5s. How's that sound?
Love it.
Dude, the audience is going to love this. They're going to be so excited. Okay, so for some honorable mentions for me for 2025, which I was actually kind of surprised that I didn't think about a few of these. I got first K-pop Demon Hunters. Really fun animation. It took me a little bit to watch it, and the music is just freaking fire. I'm sure you've heard it on the radio or somewhere. It's just very all over the zeitgeist right now. Really fun movie, and it's just a real good pick-me-up, too. Really good feel-good. Fantastic Four. I did enjoy it. I thought it was a really nice Marvel outing, and I think there's other stuff about Marvel I'd want to say in this podcast. I'm going to say for a little bit later. Something that might be talked about a little bit later as well. Invincible Season 3 was out of control. I think it would have been higher up on my list if it was a little bit closer to right now. I think the fact that it was so long ago makes me kind of forget about the heft of it, but what a season with Conquest and with Oliver and Mark just fighting some of the craziest battles I've ever seen in my life. That show is so gruesome. Oh my god!
Every time, just to talk a little bit about it because it's actually on my honorable mentions. It got bumped, so it's an honorable mention.
Oh, okay, good. I was mad at you for having it on your list. I was like, you have it? Are you
It
kidding?
was on my
I should
list,
have
but
had
now it
that.
got bumped to honorable mentions, so we can talk about it here.
Tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts.
Because actually, that's the thing. I watched it only like a month ago. I originally like missed it when it first came out, so it took me a couple months to get into it. But no, I watched the whole thing, and yeah, I 100% like. That's the thing I love about that show is that, and I've never read the graphic novel, so I don't know if it's the same, but every time I watch that show, it feels like there's no way that they could top that, right? There's no way they could top that.
I know.
That battle scene or that yeah, like how gruesome everything is, like, you know, there's the bloodshed. And there's no and like you're like, of course, you know, Mark's a Viltrumite, half Viltrumite, so he's gonna recover from all of his injuries, but like he gets maimed.
It's rough,
he gets
though. It's
absolutely freaking maimed. And the other people, the immortal, you know, gets maimed. All these people get like just destroyed. And then they're talking again, and then when somebody actually, you know, and again, spoilers, sorry. When somebody actually dies, like
Rex.
Yeah, when Rex dies, you're like, it actually has serious weight because everybody just kind of like, yeah, they beat each other up and they get almost close to death multiple times, but they never actually die. And when Rex died, it was like, what?
Yeah, he's not coming back. Like it's like they really do add some serious tones to it.
Yeah, it does a great
job. The voice
job.
acting too is so good.
Impeccable.
Steven Yeun, I always talk about how much I love Steven Yeun. I think he's so great in everything he's in. I feel like I have like a crush on him actually a little bit. But like, I mean, when he's like Mark and, you know, he's calling out the Cecil, Cecil, I need you, Cecil. It's like so heartbreaking. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yep.
And, you know, he's like
So
realizing like he does need help no matter how powerful he is. Oh, what a great show. I could talk. We should just do an Invincible episode, truthfully, because I could talk about this forever.
Spark that.
Want to do like a season 4 thing?
Yeah, I do. Because, yeah, that's man, I can't wait. After I finish watching, I'm like, wait, when does season 4 come out? I have to.
Oh my God. I love this show. I
so
love
excited
this show.
for
It's
it.
kind of like my new Dragon Ball Z. That's like how I feel about it in terms of my life, because I haven't had anything replace Dragon Ball Z like how it was in my life. But this definitely has a very similar feel in a weird way.
No, I agree with that. I mean, they're kind of like based on print materials that are graphic novel nature kind of thing, and I think that they both tell like a very similar, like, you know, coming of age story as well, and they kind of capture that essence in Dragon Ball Z is going to have a nostalgic place in our hearts. I know the kids of the 90s, but no, Invincible definitely comes close and almost is. It almost does feel like kind of like an more adult version of it, you know, and it's like kind of like,
I mean, they're both plays on Superman.
right, exactly. So,
You know, Goku is the Japanese Superman.
yeah, absolutely. So, I definitely agree with that comparison, and I think that's it's just everything about it is just really well done. The storyline is
really cool.
It doesn't not an ounce of fat on it. It you know, you want more too, and it's like, what, there's only that amount of episode 8 already? Like, no way.
Yeah, some people complain about the animation, but something I appreciate about them is that they save their budget for the right episodes, because
Yes.
that conquest fight was beautiful. And also, I don't even think the bad animation's that terrible. I don't know, maybe I'm not a bad judge of it, but for me, I'm kind of like, I don't, the story is good enough that it's carrying on through just fine, and the voice acting's worth it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, honestly, the animation, it's serviceable enough to be like almost like in the style of one of those animes, you know. It's like kind of the, you know, there's a lot of like animes that look like they're a little rough around the edges, or they do like little animation tricks that you can be like, oh, well, that's become a staple of animes now. And I mean, you know, it just kind of plays into that a little bit, in my opinion. It doesn't.
I
really
like how
affect
it's
me that much.
reminiscent. It's reminiscent of Saturday morning cartoons, like
Right.
our Saturday morning
Yep.
cartoons, and it's just brutal. I don't know. I think it's great. There's just some great stuff in there.
I think like I love The Boys too, as a little bit of a comparison there. Graphic novel originally, and now it's ported to a live action. Very gruesome as well, but the fact that that they can go so much farther with animation than they can with the, you know, without it looking like CGI necessarily. Like, I mean, again, they do a really good job on The Boys. I'm not saying they don't, but I think that the fact that it is animation for Invincible and they are able to, like you said, it looks like one of those Saturday morning cartoons, and all of a sudden somebody gets their like leg ripped off, and you're like, oh my god, so it has so much more weight. Even though it's an animated cartoon, it still has the weight of being it could be live action, honestly. I'm glad it's animation.
Yeah, it's because all the gruesome stuff looks just as real as any kind of everyday stuff that you would see. It's there's no level of of having to disbelieve it. It looks the same in their reality that they set up for us. So it is very gruesome. Like seeing like the street people kind of getting swiped through just because they're so fast is just that little
and
boy.
It's like almost like real. It's like normal time for them, but like people are getting just splattered, just disintegrated and stuff like that. Right before and it's like And I mean, so far, like you said, with the voice acting and all the heaviness of the roles, Aaron Paul was had a role in season 3, and he's actually not coming back apparently because of how intense.
Oh no!
Yeah, I know. And I've seen a couple articles on it. Apparently, how intense that role was for him. Like mentally, he's like, I don't even want to play the character anymore. That's how devastating. I mean that whole storyline was horrifying and horrible,
Yeah, it was really sad. It's a really dark story. I hope they kind of just don't use the character then that much.
Yeah, I know.
But I don't know. He did kill one of the Invincibles, so I feel like he's kind of important.
They set him up to be a pretty recurring villain, but
and Aaron Paul's so noticeable too, like that voice, Invincible.
This is your fall, Invincible.
Why is above the law? Why does never pay for his crimes?
Just to finish up some honorables so that way
please.
I can get through these darn things. I got 2 from the past. I got 2016's The Hunt for the Wilder People by Taika Waititi. Very funny, takes place in New Zealand in the bush.
Awesome.
Very Taika Waititi before that Thor Ragnarok Taika Waititi, so it's kind of more true Taika Waititi, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Really, really funny, very very good movie. I just took me a while to file it. And this one, even older, which I'm shocked I didn't watch, is Nora Ephron's Julie and Julia from 2009. I'm kind of having a food cooking thing right now. I've been listening to a lot of food books, watching a lot of food media. I'm gonna make a couple food videos soon. And dude, I watched it once and then I watched it like 20 more times, and I still foresee it a couple. It's a good comfort background watch. It reminds me of my mom, and I love it. Yeah. And it's a beautiful movie. So that's that's not it for my honorables. One that I was really, really fighting with, this is going to be on my list, but I felt like I have to push it to the honorable mentions, is Stranger Things 5, simply for the reason of we've only seen half the season, and I don't think it's fair to call it top of 2025 if I have not seen the whole thing. So I pushed it there. It is a great freaking start. I am so excited. Well worth the wait. And I'm always been a defender of Stranger Things. I don't care how long it takes. I love that show. Great job.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely agree with that assessment. And I mean, yeah, it's a great show. And let's wait till it's done, and then we can talk a little bit more about it when it's a complete series there.
We should circle back to this.
I agree 100%. So for my honorable mentions, I have The Iron Claw, which is the wrestling biopic. It was 2023, I think, it came out, and A24. So the film, I thought it was really well done. I really liked the motifs. The visual motifs were really well done. Everything felt kind of like almost like a dreamy recollection of the events, and I think that it was a great film. The only thing I did feel like it was a little rushed, even though it was 2 hours long. I felt like kind of like, because the story is about the whole Von Elmrich family, and they were cursed, and they kind of a lot of them died in tragic ways, and I think that it was good, did a good job building up the characters and stuff, and then all of a sudden just like it almost felt like we ramped into just everybody like dying really quickly, and I think it's because they had to compress 20 years worth of that kind of tragedy into like a 2-hour movie. So definitely they did a good enough job, I think, with it, but it definitely felt like it could have been easy. They even actually wrote out one complete like brother, like one of the brothers. There was 5 of them, I think, and they only talked about 4 there, and there was only 4 of them in the film. So they actually took that artistic liberty just to they didn't have to shoehorn in anybody and make it more bloated. Also, I think he died pretty tragically too. And the director was like, we don't want to even touch that. It was a very, very tragic way to pass away. So, I mean, they all were, but his was a little harder to like write in, I think, and keep the film's message, from not being too downtrodden.
Yeah.
Because there is a little bit of like a little bit more of a hopeful note, even though there's all that tragedy, like kind of like a hopefulness for the future kind of thing. And I definitely enjoyed
I've seen that scene. It's a great scene.
Yeah,
with Zach and the kids at the end. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and Zac Efron knocked it out of the park. He did a great job. I really liked his acting, and the cast around him as well did a really good job. Just moving through my honorable mentions though, Invincible we already talked about in length, so that's good. And then the documentary that was going to be in my top 5, but actually got knocked out. So there's no more documentaries in my top 5. Actually, kind of there is, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So my last honorable mention is Titan, the Ocean Gate disaster film, the documentary that was this year came out on Netflix, and I thought that was really well done. And I am just really interested in how that happened. That whole Ocean Gate thing is just a horrible. Like all the stuff that came out in that documentary too. There's a lot of whistleblowing that happened, learning a lot more about it. Because like what we heard on the media originally and everything like that was really, it was really tragic. And we all thought it was like an accident, like this whole big thing. But like just what we hear about what Stockton Rush did and like all of the stuff that happened behind the scenes. He was just very, he did a lot of things just recklessly and negligently, and it was like actually scary with how much he got away with to make it so that he could have this voyage that took these 5 lives. And I think that it was just very well done, documentary about it. So that's why I put it on that honorable mentions list there. So
I've seen pieces of it, and I think a lot of it actually, and it is fascinating how much like one guy can kind of coerce or bully people to like do stuff, and it's like, yo, raise your hand if something's wrong, say something.
Oh, you have to.
What a great pick. Great
have
pick.
to. And I think that's going forward now, that's like going to be more of an accepted thing, I think, with hopefully this never happens again, because the things he got away with just should never have been able to get away with. And I mean, when you have a lot of money, you can make certain things happen, I guess. And unfortunately for those folks that were in there with him, he was just on this quest to get this thing done, and those people were just bystanders at that point, and they lost their lives because of it.
Too bad for all of them. He seemed a little insane, and it
exactly.
And it just is. It's tragic. It's a tragic thing because it's like, I don't know. He might have really believed like what he was saying, but it's just like, yo, one person. It's like without the science to back it up, and all these glaring mistakes. It's crazy. But let's get out of Stockton and into our top 5s, because I want to talk about something slightly happier and still dark. I think we should talk about this one first, because I did notice it's on your list too. I'm going to say one of my first picks, and none of these 5 are in any particular order of, for me anyway, of which ones I like best. But first one I want to mention is Sinners, which I think was one of the best films of the freaking year.
Absolutely.
And it's still one of the best films of the year. I have it on pause right now because I knew it was on my list, and I was like, oh, I got to check out a little Sinners and just got to enjoy it. It's such a good movie. I love it.
It was, and
oh
I
my
mean,
God.
we have a whole podcast on the when we both saw it in theaters. It was just fantastic film through and through. The music was great, the acting was great. Ryan Coogler's attention to detail was great, and I think that just so much innovation was packed into that film. Just from the technical aspects of it, the way it was shot in 2 different formats for wider accessibility in post-production, I think it was really cool too. So, I mean, I definitely a candidate for the best film of the year, in my opinion, and also one of my favorite films of this year as well.
It was amazing. I mean, it was such a great film. It felt like being a kid again. It reminds me of movies from when I was young in a way.
Yeah.
Great messages, great horror, great music. Also, shout out to the DP, female filmmakers. I think they're some of the best filmmakers out there. They just have an eye for storytelling and set design that I think men don't have. Yeah. And I hope it opens the gate for a lot more women cinematographers to be like leading us into these awesome films. I love this movie so much. We shouldn't talk about it too long though. We have a whole like hour-long podcast about it, but
we do.
Mike, let me throw the ball to you first on cause let me hear some of your different ones. What's something that's on your list?
And we can go through these pretty quick. I mean, but the other four of my top five, one of the other four is the film the miniseries, I should say, Baby Reindeer, which that's why I said semi-documentary. It's not a documentary because it was created by Richard Gadd, who's a comedian, a Scottish comedian, and he mapped the main character, Donnie Dunn, after himself. So it's semi-autobiographical, but it is a fictional story, miniseries. And I just thought that was really well done too, because it tackles a lot of like really sensitive subjects, and also in like almost in a comedic way. It's a black comedy, so you still do. It's a lot of awkward situations. He's a prop comic, so just like the awkwardness of him doing some stuff that lands and some stuff that's not, and those scenes are great, and also just seeing the descent of having to deal with a stalker while also going through a lot of trauma in your life. I think that it actually, because that's the whole thing. It starts out with that whole her being. I don't know. Actually, have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet. No, okay. I've heard about this. I've heard, and I'm actually kind of glad to hear about it because all I've heard is the title and that people have really enjoyed it. So yeah,
I would say I don't want to spoil too much. Then it's definitely he goes through a lot. In his the whole thing is his personal life, so it's a lot of him going through a lot of personal struggle, including dealing with the stalker aspect of that woman Martha that comes into the bar and where he works and eventually starts stalking him. So it starts off with that, but then it gets into a lot of deeper stuff, and it's very well told in the miniseries format, and I think it lends itself to that too, because each episode.
I love a good miniseries.
Yeah, it's very good at getting you reeled in, and then you want to just watch the next one. So it does a good job of pacing in that way as well. So that's
what's the difference between a mini series and a limited series? Is there a difference?
I think limited is even a little shorter. I think miniseries is almost like almost a season's worth of TV. So it's like 6 episodes, 7 episodes, and then a limited series is like 3 or 4. I don't know. I could be wrong on that, but
interesting.
It might just be Netflix labeling, but I don't know.
I just feel like this is an interesting place for them because it's nice that you have a longer format than a movie, but it's nice that it's also not going on for like The Queen's Gambit. I think is one of the coolest pieces of media we've gotten in the decade.
I think that also the difference could be that a limited series is literally like I said, like 3 or 4 episodes, so it's like it's contained 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Let's say they're all 45 minutes. It's a 4-hour thing, right? But I think that also a mini series is basically like they don't want to just say, oh, we're only going to do 1 season of the show and it's going to be 1 season and then we're done. That's their way of saying it, is that it's like a miniseries is like, it's almost like the length of because I think it is like 8 episodes, Baby Reindeer. And so they don't want to say, oh, it's just season 1 of Baby Reindeer and then it just doesn't go on anymore. So because when you say season 1, you expect to have further seasons. So I think miniseries just saying it's just this, like this is, and it is a self-encapsulated story. So that's, I think, the differentiation. And a limited series is even shorter than a mini series, I believe.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that one out. Where can I find that one?
Netflix.
Nice.
The Netflix.
Maybe we shouldn't count Netflix out just yet. There's a couple of good things in there.
All of our gripes with Netflix buying Warner Bros. But that's one of them. Do you want me to just keep going on my list, or do you want to jump to one of yours?
Well, want to just toss it back and forth? We can just do like one each, and just kind of talk about what we liked about it.
Sure. So,
why don't we keep it in Netflix's world? I don't know if you've seen this one, but the new 2025 Frankenstein by Guillermo del Toro.
Not yet.
Very recently, just checked it out. I mean, it did just come out a couple weeks ago, but absolutely loved it. It kind of reminded me of like Nosferatu a little bit from last year in the seriousness and how they've like heightened up the story. Jacob Elordi is fantastic. The makeup and effects are fantastic. Oscar Isaac's great, but I think Jacob Elordi made me cry a little bit. And I don't think I know the story of Frankenstein, but I guess I never really watched or read like a full through line story of story. It's heartbreaking, and he really sells trying to find what he is, what his humanity is, very well, and
awesome.
His body language is beautiful. It's a beautiful film. I really hope you see it because I'd love to talk to you about it.
Yeah,
because now we're gonna have to talk. Now we're gonna have to talk about it offline because we're gonna have a million podcasts of movies that we're talking about.
I know, right? Well, I definitely do want to check it out because Frankenstein was one of my favorites when I in the English class, like as I got into like 10th, 11th, 12th grade. that was one of the books that stood out. Because I did read it for English class, and I read it again because I loved it so much. It was such a great, and it was like one of those stories within a story. Like it was a frame story as well. So it's a great novel, and it's been adapted to hell. But I was really excited when Guillermo del Toro is the director of this film. Like he's a master of his craft, and I just love that fact that he directed this film. So I'm really excited to see it.
I feel like he's also great with this type of story too.
Yes.
Like, yeah, things like The Shape of Water. He just did Pinocchio. He just
Pan's
is really
Labyrinth.
great with this with this outcast type of thing, and maybe they're misunderstood in some sort of a way. But he's also great at putting out stuff that multiple people are putting out the same type of story. Like we just got a couple Frankenstein related things. We have that one with Emma Stone that just came out. We have Lisa Frankenstein. We have The Bride coming out soon. So there's a lot of Frankenstein stuff. There's Guillermo del Toro did this with Pinocchio too, and he puts out his, and his is kind of like the defining version of the time. And you'd wish people give him the space to do it because it's really that great. And it's funny because Andrew Garfield was supposed to play the role, but I would say I'm really glad that he dropped because I think Jacob Elordi really just nailed it.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see how he brings the character, because it's a very tragic character, and it's exciting because and he also, like, everybody has the notion that he's like brainless or dumb, but like he's very eloquent in the book, and it's one of those things where, like, not basing it, not judging the book by his cover, you wouldn't know that, but yeah, he's a very eloquently spoken in the book, and it's one of those things that really hasn't translated. It has in a couple places, I think, but not really too much onto the screen. So I'm excited to see how it's adapted here in 2025.
Yeah, I think a bit better than previous adaptation because he is pretty eloquent in certain pieces. So I'm excited for you to see it. You gotta let me know what you think.
Definitely. Awesome. So I will keep it in the horror genre here, and one of them is Bring Her Back. This year.
Oh, how was that?
Danny and Michael
I didn't see
Filippo. Yeah, it was amazing. I loved it because it was like, it felt a lot like Talk to Me, but like completely different film. But it had their style of filmmaking, which I did love from that film, and it just told such a interesting story. And you kind of you knew the themes like throughout the entire thing, but like you couldn't predict where it was going a lot of the time, which is good. It was in a good way. It wasn't like confusing at all. It was just more like, how's this gonna get resolved, and it kept you a lot of tension. And it wasn't a lot of like jump scares or anything like that. It was more like just tension built, and the atmosphere of the film was just really really well done. So.
It looks freaky. I definitely want to check it out. I wasn't the biggest fan of Talk to Me, but I do like the atmosphere of it. I think I have to give it another shot.
I would suggest doing that because I really liked Talk to Me, and some things felt a little on the nose. I feel like with Talk to Me, but they did a lot more subtle filmmaking here in Bring Her Back. I think, in my opinion, I think it was really well done.
Very nice. I might keep us in the darkness just a little bit longer while we're here, just because we're in the horror realm. Why not just stay here and shame you a little bit more for not seeing this movie? But I am talking about Zach Cregger's Weapons. I loved it. I thought, as soon as I saw the trailer for this movie with the kids running around with their arms out like that, I knew I was going to be into it. And I think... man, it was very dark. I think the cinematography is beautiful. There's some great camera movements that really do some very freaky stuff. What's nice is they also have good tension cutting moments of comedy in there, little sprinkles of it, which I think is really nice. And there's one point where I saw the cinematographer, the cameraman was like filming the scene, and what was really cool is he's chasing him on roller skates. They're doing on roller skates, and I was like, that's so neat. I want to start roller skating again.
In the convenience store, is that the one?
Yes. I've seen I was like,
BTS of that.
I was wondering about that when I saw it, and I was like, now that I see it, I'm like, oh, that makes total sense. That's what they did.
That's awesome.
Really, really cool. And also, I think with the witch lady in it, I think it gave us a new horror icon that people are going to remember. I know there's a lot of talk about her getting like a prequel movie or something.
I heard about that.
And she was freaky. She was very scary.
No, that's awesome. I really do need to see it ASAP. Like I almost don't even want you to keep going because I just need to see it and then we could talk about it.
I'm not gonna say anymore, except for that the ending is awesome. So,
Oh,
so you gotta
okay.
go see it.
All right. I will make it my mission to see it before we film again.
There might even be a Scream King in there that we're both familiar with that we both love. So who
All right.
knows?
That's a good thing I'm going to have to keep an eye out for now. Awesome. So another one that is probably everybody's going to know that this is going to be on my list here, but VHS Halloween. But
Oh, really? That's in your top 5?
I'm actually putting not even just VHS. I mean, it was great. I loved VHS Halloween because we watched the trailer earlier in the season, but
Yeah.
the short kid print, which is the one about the company that makes all the the missing kid videos, and then all
Yeah.
that craziness happens with the serial killer in the town.
Yeah.
That I'm actually going to put that one specifically as one of my favorites, just because the energy of that. And like it's just so down. Like a lot of VHS is like comfort food almost, where you're kind of like, okay, the situation's a little crazy or a little silly or a little out there, whatever. This one was just none of that, and it also felt very genuinely like it was in the 90s. Like it was like the stranger danger scare of when we were growing up. Like, do not trust strangers, and always yell if a stranger's trying to abduct you, kind of thing. Like it had that vibe to a T.
Yeah.
And it really it gave me a visceral reaction, not only from that, being a kid in the 90s when I was remembering all that, but also being a father myself it made it really hit home. Like, this is a scary thing that I have to think about in my real life. And it didn't really give you any kind of closure or kind of like, it did all that with being a short in an anthology film.
Yeah.
So
You're right. It did have a great sense of dread when they're at that party and everyone's trying to kind of get through it quick and just get home, but they want to do something for the kids because
Right,
they need
for
to have
Halloween.
lives. It's really dark, and and I think you're right. I really enjoyed VHS Halloween. Now that you say it, I think the mommy was the one that I liked the most. Like seeing that glowing house that kind of was reminiscent of Chronicle.
oh yeah, yep.
It kind of that vibrating light.
Yep.
And just seeing the hand come out the door was freaky. But yeah, you're right. That Stranger Danger, there was something very dark about that one.
Man,
It was,
yeah, so that one lives rent free in my head, and I mean, in a good way, but also it's one of those things where like I don't even know if I'd want to. Like, I loved all of that film, but I'm gonna need some time before I watch it again for sure, because it gave me like all those reactions, both from when I was a kid and now that I'm a dad. It's like it was a lot to think about and process. So
yeah.
definitely tough.
Yeah, I agree. Well, to bring us out of that darkness a little bit, I'm going to bring us into another very wild, very, very different show on Amazon Prime by Benito Skinner called Overcompensating. Truthfully, when I was first watching the show, I wasn't crazy about it. It's I think it's like 6 or 8 episodes long. I didn't think the filming and editing was really working for me. I thought it was kind of a little bit, not amateur, but there was something kinks they could have worked out with it. But as the show went on, it got better, and I think the characters and the writing is so fun and funny, and it's college people, it's very like LGBT coded. And it's like a lot of college from the time frame that you and I were in college. A ton of the music that they're using is stuff
nice.
that you would have heard when we were in there.
Yep,
and it's funny because they look like they're in their 30s, some of them, but the actors have openly said, like, look, we created the show. We wanted to do it. We don't care. Like, we wanted to make this thing. And I just really respect them, and I just love any kind of show that's pushing forward LGBT people and kind of like giving them some spotlight and showcasing these stories, I think is good. And it's funny because in the show, a lot of the characters are kind of like assholes to each other, but it's kind of interesting because it kind of reminds me of what people were actually like in college, and there's some moments of real genuine heart that I love, and it's a very funny show. So just for all the media that's put in there, and that's getting a season 2, and it's kind of like the little show that could, I'm putting Overcompensating on my top 5.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out for sure. I haven't seen it, but definitely sounds like a great show to check out for sure. And then for my last one on my list, again, not ordered in any order, but just films that I've seen, is actually an older one. It's called Hell or High Water. It came out in 2016.
Nice.
And I'll give you a short synopsis. It follows two brothers, Chris Pine and Ben Foster. the actors who play them, and they carry out a series of bank robberies in order to save their family ranch while being pursued by two Texas Rangers who are played by Jeff Bridges and Gil Birmingham. So this film, it's on Amazon Prime. It's you can watch it there. That's where I watched it, and I saw it, and it was I always loved neo westerns. I'm a very big fan of them, like No Country for Old Men, it's not. This is not a neo western, but it's a western. The Tombstone. I don't know if you've seen that, or not Tombstone. Sorry,
I haven't.
Bone Tomahawk is the one I'm thinking of, but Tombstone is also great. It's a great western.
Is Unforgiven a neo western?
It's a normal western. I think it took place in like the 1800s sometimes.
So what is? Oh,
neo
gotcha.
western is like it takes place nowadays, but it's like in the West, set in the West. This one takes place in
Gotcha.
Hell or High Water takes place in northern Texas, was where the ranch is.
Interesting.
And I actually like it because it does travel a little bit more into the other western states. Like they go to Oklahoma to gamble because gambling is illegal in Texas, so they go to a casino just over the border in Oklahoma, kind of thing. So I do is a little bit of like. They're driving their trucks in Texas and they're driving the West, the open frontier kind of thing. They play into that a little bit, which is great. And these guys are so likable. Chris Pine is a great actor, and he's very likable in the film. He's like the more put together brother, and then Ben Foster, another amazing actor, but he plays like the kind of like degenerate brother who like is just like, oh yeah, we're gonna rob banks, that's just what we're gonna do, right? But they're both of their goal is to save their family's ranch, and they do a lot of like stuff that's like very western. Like for example, one of the ways that they get away with a lot of like they do these getaways, they'll buy a car cheap, and then they on their ranch they have an excavator, so they'll just dig a car sized hole and they'll push the car into the hole and then they cover it up. And I remember that scene being like,
oh, funny.
That's so cool. So like I like a lot of that kind of like Wild West, out frontier, even though it takes place literally like it could have taken place in 2016, like kind of thing. But it is like a feels like you're like literally in the Wild West with someone. And Jeff Bridges does a great job as the Texas Ranger. He's like, I know these boys are doing something and I can't prove it, but I know they're doing. Like he's got that like rough and gruff, kind of like True Grit when he played. When he played Mr. Cogburn in True Grit. So like he's got that energy and he's got that that ability to make that role come to life. So and he's also like an old timer. So he's like by my day they didn't do things this way kind of thing. And it was that
sounds great.
It really encapsulated that Western vibe. And Gil Birmingham is a Native American actor. So he's like the partner to Jeff Bridges. So they have a lot of good foil and chemistry together as well. So. I would definitely recommend.
Dude, Jeff Bridges could talk to a crazy person who thinks he's an alien, and I'd still love him. I love Jeff Bridges. He's great, and I think I can totally. And I was gonna say, is he the cop? I've never seen this movie, so that's great to hear that he's the ranger. That's great. Oh man, okay, I'm gonna watch this one now. That's funny. I'm sad I missed it.
What about your last one, Joey?
It's going to switch gears. I didn't mean for this to be the last one. I don't mean to insinuate this my number one, but I do want to give credit where it's due. I think The Thunderbolts by Marvel was freaking great. I think it was really much more down to earth. I think the action was fantastic. The acting was great. I love Florence Pugh. I think she's carrying this whole thing on her back right now. And also, they really kind of changed it up in that it was a different type of ending that wasn't just this huge CGI mashup of an explosion. It was something to do with heart and emotion and psychological issues. And I don't know. I just thought it was a real refreshing Marvel movie. It moved a lot slower, which I really liked a lot. And I don't know. I think kind of similar to big studios and being criticized for being big studios. Just because stuff comes out of a big studio doesn't necessarily mean everything is going to be this hyper polished thing. Like this, it was a really cool thing, and something I really enjoyed about the Thunderbolts itself is that the marketing of it, which for better or for worse, take it for what it is, they were trying to get us in those seats. But they really did celebrate a lot of creators in the movie, of people who did the score, the cinematographers and the writers. It was very interesting to see how much they were promoting the movie by people who made other great things and highlighting these other workers in the industry. So even if it was a ploy to get us in there, it was doing something really good at highlighting people who don't necessarily get these accolades.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go with the Thunderbolts.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I haven't seen it. I mean, I again, like to your point though, like the Marvel movies to me just feel very much like they're obviously way better stories told than the Transformers films, but they almost feel like sometimes, like you said, they devolve into a little bit of CGI madness at the end or whatever. But like
A little
it's really,
formulaic sometimes.
right. So it feels great to hear that this one is like a down to earth. It has a story that has heart. Like that's the essence of great stories and great filmmaking. So definitely, I definitely am looking forward to seeing it. Actually, now I'm gonna have to go check it out.
You're going to have to. If you want to improve your 2026, it's going to be by watching this masterpiece from 2025.
Hell
I
yeah.
don't know about masterpiece, but I think it was a real good memory of 2025. So I definitely think people should go check it out if you haven't already.
Sounds good. Awesome.
Oh, well, Mike, is that it for our top fives of this
I
year?
think so.
Man, we really worked through this a bit faster than last year. Remember, it took us like 3 hours to talk about them?
No, I think that was actually really great, though. I think we did a good job of getting our points across and still having a bit of conversation about each one, which was really good, too.
Yeah, I agree. But we should let our audience go. This one's a pretty long one, so I think we should sign this out. So thank you all for listening to the Capture Scratch Pod. If you liked what we were talking about today and enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, like, and comment to join the conversation. Stay tuned for next week. We're going to talk about, our topic is less is more. What can you do with certain technologies or filmmaking tools and get a lot out of it? Until then, take care, watch movies, and always remember to check Capture Scratch.